ladies and gentlemen, you're looking back at some more League of Legends action, and you're seeing the countdown go down so quick, so fast, that it is time for some more League of Legends gameplay. Let's get right into this one, folks. DTS was surprised by last game. They were not expecting a surprise. They were not expecting an out of nowhere. They were bamboozled as they had all one lane come out of their woodwork, dominating in every aspect of the word. They managed to win the game. All one lane's victory here is a good hope, for they may have a chance to knock DTS into a troubling position, while at the same time helping all one lane climb their way back in. As we have some very important announcements to make here. Both Jin Daddy and Kid of Fire have thrown themselves back into the fire. They want to be the deciding factor for both sides and answer a very, very important question that both of them have. Who is a better mid laner, Kid of Fire or Jin Daddy? That is the question. And you, the audience member, will certainly find out, as they only have one chance, one opportunity to prove to each other how skilled the other opponent is. Jin Daddy, one of the most dominating #1 top laners in this league, versus Kid of Fire, fighting for that third spot, fighting for that mid-laning third presence. He's there, he's trying, and he's certainly going to do everything in his power to prove that he can win this matchup. We have immediately a selection. Warwick has been confirmed for dub. He will take it. He will confirm it. It's his, and we will see where everything comes around from there. Poppy has been secured, but interesting decision making here, I have to admit, by this. They are not going to have a traditional type of style. They're looking at the Poppy. They're going to take a J4 here. Warwick's dashing ability, bit of an issue, but honestly, you can't really ignore his ultimate, and his Q doesn't really do that much. We will have a Poppy bursting a Maokai, most likely, in the top lane, as Jin Daddy has decided to secure the Malzahar option for his team. Looking at the situation right now, looks like Kid of Fire is going to take the Galio against the Malzahar. I'm not going to lie here. This is some pretty interesting maneuver by Kid of Fire. Would have expected something like Brand. Would have expected one of his clutcher champions. But he wants to take Galio. He wants to get the 3-tank system already up on the front. This is going to be really interesting. Kid of Fire is definitely going to make this match an interesting one for sure. Right now, Malzahar, Maokai, and Warwick have been confirmed, and the same thing on the other side. So we're looking at ADCs and supports again. All one lane will definitely need a carry to get the job done. But who is that carry? And can that ADC do the job that's needed? Lucian has been taken away here. The early game choices taken off the spot. Lucius Best certainly sitting around here. They have the opportunity. Will they take it? That is a difficult question to confirm on. Lucius Best sitting at 5 seconds. He needs to take one of the late game carries. What will he take? No time left on the clock. He takes out the Lulu. Interesting decision. Lots of late game ADCs are available. Bludit gonna take the Tristana. Gonna take the Stana. And will confirm it. With authority. Not even gonna give us any second to talk about it for sure. This is a lot of options. TK looking at the Caitlyn. Feeling the Caitlyn option out. Liking it. Confirming it. As TK will secure that one, DeFluff will now have his Janna as an alternative option. One of the safest bot lanes in the game right now. still holding that medal strong since Season 7. Caitlyn and Janna, almost annoyingly, is the most safest and securest bot lane you're ever going to come across. Tristana is a very good engaging ADC. So Sushi's got a lot to choose from here. The damage output by all one lane is very low. So if I was Sushi right now, I would deeply consider picking something that could turn into something I could utilize in the future. All one lane's damaging comp is honestly strategically pretty low. Let's see if that's going to be enough, however, going up against their team. For the first time, DTS has resummoned Jin Daddy to come to their rescue. Is Jin Daddy's damage and playmaking ability going to be the deciding factor? Or will all one lane have their win that they have not gotten over in many, many weeks now? Warwick certainly sitting on the ghost here. I don't think Dub's going to confirm it. We'll certainly see in a moment if that's true or not. As everyone's still speculating, still deciding whether who's got the better comp here. I'm looking at all one lane. I don't see that a lot of damage from that team. I see a good amount of health percentage damage and a little bit of burst on the top, but I do not see a lot of damage from that team. Let's hope it is going to be enough. As we go into this situation, it is going to be a summoner switch for Dub. He will have a flash instead of the ghost. And it looks to be an interesting one, Tristana with Nami. I don't know. I'm looking at all one lane's comp right now, and I am not sure why they would want to go with something like this. It just doesn't seem like the damage is well placed. They're putting it all onto Bludit to do the job necessarily, while Caitlyn and Janna are going to be as safe as spot lane down there. I don't know how this is going to work out. Let's hope my casting partner will be arriving shortly to give us some details. I do see what you're saying here, Ziffy, bringing up the fact that DTS's damage comp is not very high either. But I do disagree in the mid-game standpoint. The mid-game usually is where both Warwick and Maokai have their higher damage proccing in combat, which falls off into the later half of the game. But Malzahar at that point will have the Jin Daddy luck of just able to farm super well and do tons of damage. Would love to see how that's going to work out for him. Certainly still waiting for my casting partner to show up. Should be coming back any second now. Any second now.
Good evening. My name is Draxyr, and we are here for Game 2 of All One Lane versus DST.
So, Draxyr, glad you're back. Gotta ask some questions, though. A lot of people are curious, me specifically, is why is All One Lane going with this type of comp style? Their damage is looking a little on the low side, don't you think?
So this is reminiscent of a LCS composition where you put a lot of the weight on your AD carry. They wanted to try a Galio composition, so I said, all right, let's try a Galio composition. So the idea here, right, is you have a guaranteed initiation with the Jarvan ult into Galio ult followed immediately. And if that Jarvan ult is on someone without flash, that is a guaranteed Galio ult landing, and that's quite a bit of damage, especially with the meta Galio builds as of now. Roa, Proto Bell, we're talking Rabadons, Void Staff, Sorcerer Shoes. So that's a lot of damage coming in from that Galio. So it's more damage than you would think. Tristana, of course, being the S tier #1 AD carry of this patch, can definitely put out enough damage to offset the lack of damage in that top lane.
Not to mention, Poppy can use his the E to condemn inside J4's self-made ultimate, as well as can basically make some heavy engage, so they can really lock down Jin Daddy if he gets caught out of position. Jin Daddy here for the first time has been brought back. I don't know what kind of conditioning they had for him, whether it was, well, you know, Jin Daddy's just going to win the match for us anyway, so we might as well just bench him to not even use him at all, so people don't figure out a strategy or something. But he is Jin Daddy, the #1 mid laner in Duo Esports right now. He has statistically the highest amount of CS. You'll be seeing the CS to come here, and you'll be pretty much amazed at how well Jin Daddy has been able to take control of the games that he's been playing a part of. It's been almost to the point where it's almost a 1v9 consecutively because of how DTS's circumstances have been.
Do keep in mind, though, that on a champion like Malzahar, it is quite difficult to have that 1v9 possibility. Malzahar, of course, having his greatest strength in that lockdown and zone control in his ult and silence, respectively, relying quite a bit on some team follow-up to make sure that team fight goes properly. This is actually a big issue I see in a lot of the Duo League esports compositions. Is if you take a look at the DTS lineup, you have Maokai, right? A very standard LCS tank pick. Warwick, who is not picked in the LCS, is a solo queue S tier pick. Malzahar, who is again following that LCS style S tier pick, and of course in solo queue the B plus A minus tier pick. Then of course you have Caitlyn Janna, which is more of a solo queue type bot lane style. So you have a mix of LCS and solo queue style composition here, and I think that makes the overall composition a lot weaker than if you kind of went all or nothing on either side.
So the big question everybody must be feeling right now is, can all one lane get their first 2-0 victory? They absolutely have to have this one. Can they make it happen? Is it an impossible deed? Or do you think your coaching is just that good and they're going to get it?
Well, like I said, it all really ends up being how they play this early game. I did give them quite a bit of tankiness in the mid, top, and jungle, which does make it a bit easier to survive the early game. Oh, I'll pause.
And there's our Duo Esports standard. It ain't Duo Esports game if it's not with a pause.
And of course, in the bot lane, Tristan and Nami having the priority over Caitlyn Janna, unless Caitlyn Janna play perfectly, in which case, of course, it goes to Caitlyn Janna's longer range poke.
Yeah,
the offset.
Yeah, one of the safest bot lanes you're ever going to find is a Caitlyn and a Janna. It's very difficult to get on top of them, and almost at no point in the game is it a freebie to get those two. You really have to misplay pretty aggressively in order for you two to be in a bad enough spot for you to be taken out by a gank. Statistically speaking, it is one of the most safest bot lanes you're ever going to run into, so I guess that's definitely DTS's style. They don't want Bluedit to get a bunch of kills. They don't want him to get fed. So pick a really safe bot lane, stay very safe, and just keep your distance while you get some good shots in.
Do keep in mind that in the Duo League, people are not necessarily playing their main roles. Takey, in fact, not an AD carry main. His only AD carry that he plays often is Lucian. So having banned that out, he's kind of forced to say, all right, well, I don't play any other AD carries, so let's just pick someone that seems easy and let's first time it.
Well, it's certainly something TK is going to have to get comfortable with, because here we go with the Caitlyn option. Now we have other choices sitting on the table right now. Rem is taking Poppy against the Maokai. Poppy used to be one of the most dominating, a couple patches ago, used to be one of the most dominating top laners, just able to take control of games. Ever since that rework, Poppy just seemed to be a devastatingly strong force. But now Lucius Best says, I'm going to take Maokai. It's Season 8 now. We can forget all about that Poppy era. It's time for the tree. And the tree Maokai at Season 7 has been, well, a very fun and a very interesting top laning choice, I have to admit. Gonna be a big wet noodle fight the whole way through. Tries to get the E shot off, but it's TK gonna say, hey, I'll take a little bit of that free shot, if that's what you're trying to do.
You're absolutely right. Poppy being one of the biggest menaces during the Sunfire Iceborne tank meta of early Season 7, I believe. Now falling into despair, not many people playing Poppy, as she is weaker than the other top tank picks of this current meta, Sion, Ornn, and occasionally the Maokai. However, Poppy, not being seen, has one of the strengths of the enemy laner not knowing exactly what she does and when she does it, having surprising amount of early game damage in her Q. I believe having max HP damage in both the initial Q and the burn after it, a couple seconds delayed afterwards. So we'll see if Rem can pressure down Lucius Best in this Poppy versus Maokai matchup. Definitely favored for the Poppy in the early game. However, Maokai having greater team fight applicability as the game wears on.
Right, and one of the big things about having a Poppy on your roster here is you're basically saying, I'm not going to let you have a dash move. I'm not going to let you have a play. It's the second pause coming up in this one. We do not know exactly who's the one who's DCing here, but let's hope they'll be able to fix their issue. This match is extremely potent for both sides here. DTS needs the tie. They absolutely have to have a tie to make sure that they feel secured. All one lane, if they can get the win here, they might be looking back inside playoff door again.
Absolutely, and really the big person to watch this game is Dub XI on the Warwick. He has all the power in his hands to make plays, looking for the kill on the Poppy. Of course, his Q and ult not being stopped by Poppy's W, so very easy kills there if they lock the Poppy down for long enough. However, keep in mind that Poppy has more resistances as she gets lower and lower HP. I believe it's at 50% HP, she doubles her resistances from her W, so quite hard to kill, and if Jarvan shows up, that's definitely a no-go there.
Another thing that's also really important, big eyes are on Jin Daddy, who has not been with this team in a few weeks now. I am very curious to see if Jin Daddy will be the person that can make this lane one. Kid of Fire has been waiting a very long opportunity to take on Jin Daddy, so he's extremely excited to know what makes Jin Daddy so good. What makes his farming so easy, and what makes everything work for this kid? He's going with a minion dematerializer and a Zhonya's. So this guy really does not want to get locked down. He's expecting it to happen a lot, and he's thinking it will not happen a lot.
A friend of mine and I have this inside joke where we call the inspiration tree the junkyard build, because at the beginning of the game, you can have 4 or 5 items just off the bat.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah.
Definitely, let's talk a little bit about the Malzahar versus Galio matchup while we're in this pause. Galio definitely being a melee champion, having the shorter end of the stick. However, Galio being a very strong pick this patch, especially with Aftershock, taking no damage during the taunt and no damage after the taunt while that Aftershock wears on. So the key here is for Jin Daddy to look for those trades while Kid is focused on the farm. And slowly, hopefully, Jin Daddy can get a farm advantage. It is extremely difficult to kill a Galio in lane. Having that natural magic shield, of course, and the innate tankiness of that melee champion there, and the resolve tree to boot, going to make it very difficult to kill the Galio. However, at level 6, we definitely have to keep an eye on the Warwick and Malzahar, as that is over 5 seconds of lockdown between the Malzahar ult and the Warwick ult, and then the Warwick E afterwards combined.
Mm-hmm. Now, we still have no idea what's going on with the pause going on so far. No idea. Could you check the chat to see who's the one who made the pause?
Absolutely.
Going to be very important to know, statistically speaking, because each team has only 10 minutes of their respective pause time before they are requested to unpause the game. And if they will not do so by another 5 minutes after that, it is an automatic victory for their opposing opponent. So please
let's go check.
Yep. So Drax heading over, checking with the teams on who's making the pause and what's going on.
All right, they're back. They're coming.
Okay, good.
They're here.
Fantastic news. Okay.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the bot lane here. Like you said, Janna being one of the most safe lanes. However, Tristana being the #1 AD carry. And Nami sporting that Ignite. Airy being very strong in that lane. Let's see if Blue and Sushi can punish misposition errors from the Janna Caitlyn of the DTS side.
Right. In this situation here, it will be Canadian champion, I think, only a second behind Warwick, as he will be able to take that wolf camp. So pressure so far seems to be pretty much equal. Rem is going to try everything in his power to get Lucius Best off of his game. Lucius Best certainly still getting accustomed to teamwork, as he has been so far unable to utilize his TP efficiently. Do you think that's going to come into play again for Game 2?
It may or it may not. Lucius Best was on Trundle last game, which may have incentivized him to be a bit more selfish with his summoner spells, being on that split push 1v1 champion. Now that he is on Maokai, which doesn't have a ton of kill pressure on really anyone, he may save that TP for more team application. Warwick coming up in this top lane, level 2.
Rem's going to get wedged in. It's going to be some heavy lockdown. He will get the stun onto Maokai. Gets a nice Q to land.
Jarvan's coming. Jarvan's here.
Canadian in the position. He's going to try for the lockdown. Flashes away, and double get out of that one. Rem will not have that lockdown at the time. Good job by a Canadian, realizing that is a force flash that he just made onto Warwick. Warwick will not have that until level 6 around that time. Meanwhile, looks like Jin Daddy's farm game has started to turn around onto Kid of Fire, as he's starting to now utilize that minion dematerializer.
Look at Canadian Champ pressuring this blue buff. Let's see if the response from Jin Daddy and Lucius is there. EQ burn for Jarvan. That's all of his spells. Jin Daddy moving. Nope. He's not moving. Deciding to farm instead. No response from either laner. Is this buff just going to go to Canadian? Oh my.
Dub's going to just watch his buff go, as he's going to do absolutely nothing as that happens. By the way, wow, the camera did not want to watch that at all. J4 still in the area as he's right now looking at Warwick taking the Gromp camp. No mana on this one. He will he will smite it to make sure Canadian Champ does not steal that. And Canadian Champ looking to go for a gank topside. Malachi's now realizing that J4 is on his way back up. And
there's some great vision being placed by DTS here. There's a ward at the entrance to the blue buff and a ward at the top, making sure that gank didn't go off.
Yep. So good secure and steal by Canadian. Really solid job. Warwick's now playing the catch-up game as J4 was unable to make the gank happen. Starting to work on his Raptor camp.
One of the best things that can tell you if a Jarvan player is extremely good at this game, and really you only see it at the highest levels of Diamond and beyond, is the Jarvan EQ into the flash, predicting the enemy flash. So if he pulled that off there, I was looking for it. He didn't go for it, but it is one of the coolest things you can see a Jarvan player do. Not extremely... Oh, gank going on mid lane.
Taunt lands. Jin Daddy will flash to get out of there, and Canadian does not get the knock-up he was looking for. Jin Daddy will survive that situation. The pressure still comes through. He gets some free autos. He will get some quick damage onto Jin Daddy, who is basically expecting Canadian to leave, but just, you know, he's not leaving, so Jin Daddy's not going to be able to get that play. Kid of Fire's pressure is working right now. He's backing off. He's going to probably use his TP to get back to lane.
It's actually a great play from Canadian, allowing Kid to get a good back timer. However, you did mention Jin Daddy being exceptionally good at farming. He has a 10 CS lead over this Galio, quite a bit accumulating, and as that goes on, means earlier power spikes for that Malzahar.
Yeah, no kidding. And DeFluff and TK here certainly feeling and looking like they've got the right angle and the right position.
Not quite, actually. It may look like they're doing all right, but look at the farm levels. Tristana heavily pressuring the Caitlyn. 25 CS on the Caitlyn. Janna taking 5 for herself. This Tristana bot lane is doing some work already. No kills going down for either team. That's when you have to look at the farm levels to know which side has the advantage.
Jin Daddy with the spell shield on proc. Looks like Kid's going to try to get rid of that. Force Jin Daddy to back off. But meanwhile, it's going to be a lot more minion aggro that Rem is taking. He's going to get some damage and autos off. Lucius Best will be getting his passive to come back, giving that health back to him. And Jin Daddy now low on mana, but Kid of Fire is just keeping up with him the whole way. This is actually pretty impressive. So far, his mid laner opponents have always lost momentum shortly afterwards. But this has gone really well for Kid of Fire.
Yeah, the Galio pick, as I said, being exceptionally hard to bully, and Malzahar being one of the weakest early game champions in every aspect except for pushing waves. Kid of Fire dealing with that wave clear exceptionally well.
It is J4 looking for some trouble here. He will get rid of a control ward that Warwick had placed earlier. And
that is an Infernal Dragon.
An Infernal Dragon. That is something very easily taken by Warwick at level 6. Something to very much be careful as a J4.
Face checking the Warwick.
Yep, he will walk right into him. Some big damage. Canadian will get some autos off. He's
fighting. Galio comes in with the ultimate.
Gonna land on point. Stun. Taunted.
Boom! Tristana's here. Jumps into 2 members.
Ooh, the bomb damage was gonna be enough, but here's the heal and the barrier to make it have 0 chance. Great job by Kid of Fire on that very alerted roam. They've got themselves an Infernal Drake to take as Rem trying to get the better on Lucius Best. That health percentage is working well. Lucius definitely does not want to deal with it anymore. Uses the ultimate in a self-defensive position to force Rem back away from him.
Keep in mind, it's happening again. Look at Rem Summoner Spells. Has the teleport up. Got that very nice back timer off. Lucius not finding the same macro available to him. And there's an Infernal Dragon for AOL and the top lane victory. Look at the farm levels. 15 CS behind after this wave and has the teleport disadvantage.
And Jin Daddy here is not on the right position. He's not getting his control of the wave the way he wants to, and he realizing this, so he's playing as far back as he needs to really prevent Canadian from having even the slimmest of chances to making that engaging play. And the best part about it, Kidafire can easily proc that spell shield because he can just hit the Q at such a great range. There's just no way Jin Daddy can easily avoid it.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the junglers here. That's 1 assist on the Jarvan 001 and 13 CS ahead, which is about 4 camps. Doing quite well for himself. Every lane currently winning for AOL, and with this composition, they can definitely do well in the mid game. And if they get enough of a lead, this composition actually runs away with it completely. There is no way to avoid the Jarvan EQR into the Galio R.
In theory, and exactly what you and Kidafire are exactly hoping and waiting for to see if that does come about. Let's see if that's exactly going to be the play that will work out for him. It's only a single kill lead at this time, and Jin Daddy is the wild card in this one. He has been
Jin Daddy's looking for it. The solo kill. Kidafire at the kill threshold, approaching it quickly. Jin Daddy's looking for just a couple more abilities of poke, and Kidafire will go down. Let's see what happens. Kidafire, Justice punches in.
Ooh, it's a engage onto Jin Daddy here. The ultimate to throw one out. Dub is going to try to get one more. It's going to be a knock into the wall. Dub gets taken out by Poppy.
Wow,
oh
two
goodness,
things
Rem is still
happening
alive.
at once.
Lucius
Rem is fighting the Maokai. It's under tower.
Speaking under tower, it looks like in the mid side right now, Canadian's trying to make that quick damage to come through. Jin Daddy's almost dead. This will be the first time he's gone down in lane. No, he is not going to go down. Not enough mana. Oh, he was so close for the first gank to actually ever kill him in lane, and he almost went down.
Wow, it was close. And like
close.
I said, that Jarvan ultimate's greatest power is not ulting someone with flash. It's ulting someone without it. If he held that ultimate until the Malzahar had flash, that would have been a free kill. But that slight mechanical misplay, not getting the kill onto Jin Daddy.
Yep, and Lucius Best just wasn't in a position to make that play either. At the time that it happened, he just was trying to get the wave to shove in, so it looked like Dub was isolated. Costly mistake has now put Poppy ahead of Maokai here by 300 gold.
Massive mechanical misplays on both sides of the junglers. However, one turns out way worse than the other.
Warwick coming in here.
Teleport's coming in the bot lane.
Lock up on Fluff. Fluff goes
Slam
down
into the wall.
Poppy does get the condemned down and slams him in. That's a bot lane that gets bursted. And all one lane's momentum starting to really rock the house.
5-man bot lane, one of the most classic LCS maneuvers, not pulled off exactly correctly.
Oh, he tried to go to the placement. There comes the ultimate.
The tower dive.
But it's a tower dive, and it's a well-placed Q. And Rem has managed to make that play work. Galio's in position for the rotation. He's trying to stop that inevitable play. Kidafire not taking a lot thanks to that magic resist he's got. And it will be all one lane with an 0-5 lead against DTS.
Infernal Dragon, first tower blood, everything is AOL's pace right now. Need to keep an eye on this Malzahar, though. He did get his Rod of Ages, has that item spike. Perhaps can look for a pick of some sort in this mid lane. Warwick already moving towards there.
All one lane certainly looking like a playoff team right now. They're definitely showing every single set of coordination and communication. They are feeling absolutely fantastic. As Dub, who was doing pretty well in Game 1, is certainly having a much larger struggle in Game 2, as almost every decision he's made has either backfired against him or has gotten him into a worser position that has not made it easy.
Take a look at the state of the map. AOL, I don't want to rub my own neck here, but we actually had a 6-hour coaching session yesterday where I detailed early game macro, and they have pulled it off exceptionally well. Look at Jarvan hovering in the top side, Galio in the mid, lane swap executed by the top lane and bot lane. This is exactly how it should turn out, and more pressure will be put down on DST because of this maneuver. Poppy looking for the mid lane gank.
So what do you think? This today's your best day ever, or what?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right. Well, DTS certainly is feeling a little winded right now, as they are caught in a little off balance, as they've never seen all one lane look this coordinated. The rotations of bot lane to top lane and top lane to bot lane has been made, and all one lane still has the upper hand farm-wise and kill-wise. And Rem is certainly going to take advantage of that play. Going to get a stun to happen. Lucius Best going to swing right back, and Rem has the health percentage. Going to hurt him out in a bit. Canadian is going to get some help here. The ultimate flash in. Warwick's out, and Galio will end up getting some company here. Gonna have more than
Rem
one,
is
though.
here.
The ultimate ends up missing, and Kid of Fire going to take advantage of it. The Q that lands is 2 more members going down, and the red buff falls to Poppy. Rem chasing after the Maokai here, and Jin Daddy's got to be stunned. His teammates are all of a sudden going down fast.
0-0-0 on that Malzahar mid lane.
Spell shield. Are they going to go for it?
Rem dives. Malzahar ult lands.
Taunt lands as well. Rem will not get into a bad enough spot to warrant a report, but will end up being completely okay thanks to that heavy passive from Poppy. And we're already past the 10-minute mark, so that passive is probably even bigger with the resolve that he's got.
This is going to be a Mountain Drake secured
Could not
by
be any better
AOL.
for all one lane in this stage. 0-7. Your opponents are struggling. Jin Daddy is still looking like the 1-9 team, and you're playing very clean, and you're getting every skill shot to land and connect. All one lane looking very good right now. Can he get that?
Rem.
He can't. Will not be able to do that. Oh, the lockdown.
Look at the top lane.
Here comes the Fluff to use his own ultimate for the safety play. Here comes Dub. He will disengage immediately as he engaged because they backed off fast.
This is the case where, in fact, it was interesting to see the fight around the red buff, as usually the fights happen around the top lane at this stage in the game. Now Jarvan hovering in the top side at that red buff. Warwick at his blue. We might see a 3v3 fight happen soon. Rem is in position in the top lane, not catching the wave in the bot lane. Slight macro mistake from Rem.
Yeah, it does seem like Rem is not getting the plays he's looking for here, so he's just kind of not feeling it.
Warwick
out.
going to counter gank the Jarvan.
One misplay.
Teleport coming in. Teleport canceled.
Oh,
Jarvan ults into. Galio's here. Flash taunt. Oh my gosh.
Fist down. Kid of Fire grabs himself 2 more kills for the road.
Fantastic play from Kid of Fire, knowing that Jarvan locked them down with the taunt flash into 2 members. Like you like to say, but bursting them instantly.
Yeah. So you said a TP
Head
was
in zero.
canceled on that one, didn't you?
Yes, Lucius Best, I do believe, teleported top lane and then canceled it.
Well, that might have been a very costly cancel because that ended up being an easy catch and grab for all one lane. They're going to grab themselves a Herald. They would, I would say, use it in mid lane, but who knows. Poppy's health percentage damage certainly getting on to Lucius Best. That percentage health damage working out pretty nicely.
We might see a solo kill.
He does not get that to land. Lucius Best gets
ult lands.
up. Here comes the Q. That's a lot of health percentage damage. He's very close to going
Rem
down.
has the up soon.
Got a little bit.
He has flash up. Rem has flash up.
He's got it. He's got it.
A slight misplay from Rem eating into. Oh, Jin Daddy's ghosting down. He's looking for the first kill for DTS. It's like Galio comes down, saving Rem from death. And Warwick is on the hunt.
Yeah, he is, and he's got him in sights. Kid of Fire racing back to Rem. It's gonna wait a minute. Oh no! Rem is all by himself. He's gonna go down. Kid of Fire cancels his own TP as he now has to fight against Warwick. I don't think Kid of Fire even saw it happen until it was after the fact. Oh no!
Galio actually teleported to the mid lane, trying to get down the tower, not realizing Warwick was on the hunt, coming for Rem. Rem left to the wolves, quite literally, by Kid of Fire. Where's the report ping spams?
I know, right? Oh, that Jin Daddy's a little locked in there.
Canadian champ in a bad spot. Malzahar does have ultimate.
Yes,
Can they make something happen?
Oh, looks to be close, but it doesn't seem like they want to fully commit. That tower is not going to go down either. Jin Daddy and Lucius Best hold the tower long enough.
Take a look at this top lane. The Caitlyn's being pressured, and one of the reasons why I drafted Nami into this comp is Caitlyn Janna may be safe, but they have no innate sustain. So over the course of trades, Nami will slowly heal them back up. And Caitlyn's suffering at this Tristana poke.
Yep, and it's certainly crits that are coming through here. With a full item ahead of the Caitlyn, it is going to be extremely difficult for Caitlyn to play the catch-up game here. And the tower at mid will be going down. Yep.
Top lane as well, falling on all sides. AOL is converging on DTS's squad.
And they're certainly converging well as tower after tower falling. It's all the first ones. Not as fast as it was in game 1, but it's definitely a much different tale for sure.
Look at the top lane, Warwick converging on the Tristana. Tristana Nami way too far up.
Ooh.
Ultimate cancel by the Tristana ult buffer.
Incredible timing by Bludin.
Teleport comes in by Remrem.
That's a cancel
This
and
is
a half
a
right there.
5 situation.
4 members up there? 5? Yes, 5 members up there. 5v3, you don't really win those in a normal situation. Warwick's still trying to wait for something to happen. It's still a 5v3 situation. Warwick's trying to come into play.
Remrem engaging onto the Maokai. This is still a 3v4. Malzahar is in the mid lane.
In a bad spot here in the knockup. Poppy feared on
Galio comes in. It's a 4v4. Let's see if they can get the re-engage.
Jin Daddy racing his way up there as the fight continues.
Taunt misses.
Tries to get the Q and will land it, but misses the taunt. J4 on the split. Has no one to deal with right now as all 5 members are topside. Jin Daddy now in the play. He's ghosting
forward.
He needs Tristana off of this play. He's not going to get it. And it's a TP now coming in by Maokai. And J4 now races his way to mid as the tower damage has been done.
Small note about Tristana, both her W and ult will cast as long as you cast them, no matter what CC hits you in the brief milliseconds that follow. So if you use W as you're knocked up or ult as you're stunned, it will go off anyway, which is what happened in that Warwick interaction. Let's take a look at the Dragon.
Yep, the Dragon 30 seconds, the Baron in 15, actually now 10 seconds on the clock. As it looks to be a interesting opportunity for all one lane. They have a very large lead right now. A Baron would probably put them to another level of lead. Is it a good idea to try to rush it?
Definitely not. They have one Mountain Drake. However, their only DPS will be the Tristana with that attack speed. So with the Malzahar and Warwick pick, they could potentially lose a Baron fight. Definitely safer to go for the Infernal. And then after that, with the Infernal's increased damage on the Galio and Tristana, look for the Baron play. However,
Drake is the next one. This is extremely vital for all one lane. They have, that Warwick's not even close. The Warwick's not even close.
That's not contested.
Free all one lane Infernal Drake, and that damage buff is gonna be way more handsomer onto this team. And Rem is now gonna be moved away by the winds, as it will be no engage by Poppy, and it will be another recontrol ward Tribush by Janna.
Twitch chat actually mentioned itemization, so while there's nothing happening, let's take a look at the itemization. Someone mentioned Warwick actually built Warrior instead of Cinderhulk, going to make him almost completely useless in these team fights, as he will pop instantly under the pressure of even the Poppy with that Warrior pickup.
Right, and on top of that, he's also seems to be going for a really bizarre build direction here. I was thinking maybe he was going to go for like the actual Sunfire Cape for a moment, but then I saw the health bead. And now I'm just like, where is he going with this build direction?
That health bead is actually from the beginning of the game, when you start Hunter's Machete and the health bead. He just never built it into Tiamat. Oh, they're starting the Baron. Galio's out of range of the ultimate for now. Rem is engaging.
It will be him getting into gauge range, though, very soon. Canadian champion will have the burst. He will take the Baron. Warwick again doing absolutely nothing to try to steal that. And all in lane gets himself a free Baron to go with their Happy Meal.
Like I said, if you looked at Canadian Champ's health amount, if all 5 members of DTS were there, they could have punished that quite severely. However, Jin Daddy farming mid lane and their bot lane kind of doing a weird chicken dance around the jungle, not having the vision necessary to contest that. So great play from Sushi on that support role, clearing out vision with those control wards and the sweeper, making sure DTS doesn't have enough confidence to even attempt contesting a 22-minute Baron.
Yep, and they could not do it at all, even risking the fact that they, were most likely fail. They didn't even try for it. So that's honestly very good pressure-wise. They're going to get a ward.
Jin Daddy ghosting.
Yeah, very strange decision. I think he wants to get back to the mid lane as quick as possible.
Flash is available.
Lane. He wants it, but he's not going to force himself to get it. It will be the entire way of going to him here. And his
Canadian champ looking for some action.
Yep, and his usual best in farm, obviously a CS per minute average that we all know and love from Jin Daddy is still in play here. Here comes a bot lane and a jungler.
Maokai in trouble.
Maokai goes for the ultimate. His root will last only a brief moment, and the tower goes down in an instant. Here comes the rotations here, and Jin Daddy is on his way down as well. Rem trying to catch out Jin Daddy.
Goes for the Janna instead.
The Janna on that, and Rem gets the kill. Oh,
wow,
did Janna just get caught like a deer in the headlights, just froze up when all one lane showed up on that one, and that will be a tower from the inhibitor going down.
Engage from Canadian champ.
It will be a flash here by Jin Daddy. He is still unable to be killed in this matchup while the fight continues. Rem is getting pressured in by Maokai, and it's going to be Jin Daddy trying to take out the ADC.
Bludit dodges his own redemption.
And next level dodges, puts on his dance shoes for the wrong floor.
Rem engages underneath both towers. Galio comes in.
It's gonna be a wombo combo come in. The taunts landed on all sides. Get a fires the Q the wrong direction, but it doesn't matter. Bludit takes out the Janna. All one lane looking for the early win here as they've got all the pressure in the world. Rem is getting the auto attacks to come through. It will be not enough, and even with the crit going on, the tower on the Nexus comes down. J4 takes out the inhibitor on top side, as well as the top tower. Great job on that rotation. All one lane almost has complete control of DTS.
What an engage by Rem, engaging into 5 people under 2 Nexus towers, knowing that Galio ult was there. Very ballsy from Rem, having to taking this with that Sunfire Spirit Visage.
I'm not gonna lie here. All one lane almost looks like a completely different animal. Whatever changes they went through has been answered and has been solved. Whatever questions that you guys were having certainly is looking like all the right pieces, because DTS has never been pinned in by a single kill in their entire history. And that is extremely impressive, especially with Jin Daddy on the other side.
Look at Jin Daddy though, 0-0-1 with 251 farm. Report my team for feeding. It's starting to look more and more like solo queue for the poor Malzahar. What do you think can happen to bring DTS back into this game?
I honestly do not know. This is all but over from the way I look at it right now. They don't have an opportunity to get much of anything. All one lane has so much control and so much map pressure and the extra Inferno Drake damage.
Rem looking for the engage.
DeFluff's got nowhere to go. He's going to end up being caught on the way over. DeFluff will end up using an ultimate to stop the inevitable burst. Canadian champ will try to get a catch, but does not seem to work.
Galio's here. Bludit.
Here comes an ultimate
and Sushi moving in.
Sushi's ult will end up missing badly, sadly, because
Jin Daddy ults for the Jarvan.
He's going to ult for the Jarvan. Surprising catch and play. He's going to end up taking out J4. Kitafire ends up getting womboed and ends up surviving that wombo to get another kill to go, as well as 2 more members go down. Jin Daddy still alive, barely holding on as he's head back to the fountain. And it will be the next Nexus tower going down here at 1-15. You couldn't make this up.
Kill the Malzahar! Kill the Malzahar!
Will end up going down. Jin Daddy, for the first time, has gone an entire game without a single kill. I can't believe it. There's no way. How did all one lane do this? This is impossible. How did they do it? They were on the brink of losing playoffs to looking like the most legit playoff contender I have ever seen in their entire history. What an incredible turnaround for all one lane, and what a convincing 2-0 on DTS. And Jin Daddy is left shocked as he is gone for the first time with no kills and 1 death. Incredible.
There are tears in my eyes. I'm so proud. I'm so
What a
proud.
team. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to get this guy to be your coach. Just wins. Just wins.
No,
Winning.
I cannot take
Listen,
the credit for
winning.
this. Watching this team pull off such a complicated strategy, like you said, at match select, when you have one damage threat on the Tristana and no one else dealing enough damage, it is extremely hard to pull off a composition like that because it requires intense communication and focus to make sure that you're prioritizing the correct targets. When you have multiple damage threats, it's a lot easier to make mistakes and get away with them as if one person goes down, you're not done for. But because they kept Blooted alive and they kept everyone alive, in fact, the entire game, they were able to pull off the composition beautifully. I don't believe we saw too many Jarvan ult into Galio ult engages. And in fact, even in training and scrims, Kidifier and Canadian always struggled to land that specific combo. In fact, even when Remrem was on Camille, the combo wasn't there. However, that's something to work on. And in the future, as AOL gets the hang of that specific engage combo, this team is going to be on fire.
Well, they certainly look like they got some spark of life into them. They could definitely go for some more wins. This win could we could start talking about AOL getting back into the playoff groove. Let's talk about damage real quick. Poppy, 19 damage. 19.6k damage. My goodness, Poppy dominating with that health percentage damage. That's crazy.
Do keep in mind, though, that this damage chart specifically is quite inflated. A lot of Poppy's damage was against the Maokai, and Maokai being a champion that heals back the damage that you deal to him, that number is inflated most likely by about 10,000. So a more accurate number would be around 10 to 11,000 for the Poppy, which, being quite formidable, even more than Blooted on the Tristana, definitely a fantastic performance from Remrem.
Final thought on this one, Jin Daddy, for the first time, was actually not the highest damage on his team. Malzahar, the early game, Malzahar clearly did not seem to work the way he was intending, and it looks to be like Jin Daddy has been for the first time not the highest damage on his team since week 1, and then we're at week 7. This is the very first time he's not in first place, and this is really shocking. Because considering how well that coordination had worked out. Let's take a look at the damage taken here. Poppy self-mitigated damage, really good. Had the 31.7k on that one. Love the fact that I'm seeing a lot more survivability on that Poppy, and certainly a lot more damage. Poppy's damage, whoo boy, that was really good. And the damage taken certainly did his part. J4 ends up being the most. Actually, no, Warwick actually tanked the most damage, barely out-edging the J4, but Warwick certainly had a lot of bad luck there. Ultimates that were missed by centimeters, a little bit of too much commitment towards those ultimates, those plays. He was so close, just could not seem to get what he was going for, and it was very, very close, but just not there, and he was definitely getting, well, picked on a lot in this matchup for sure. Well, let's take a look at
keep in mind that he ganked top lane at level 2, way earlier than the normal level 3 gank, so it put him behind in terms of clear time. And then Jarvan took the buff, adding insult to injury, while his team just sat in their lanes and watched, making the game almost impossible for Warwick to do anything about. And like I said at the beginning of the game, our eyes had to be on the Warwick to see what kind of plays he could make around the map, and when his legs were eloquently put by Twitch chat cut off, there was nothing he could do.
Yeah, fun little skit bit for Twitch chat. Can't wait to see that stuff. We will go on to the vision score and Ward's place here. Once again, we have a vision score higher than their opponent. And I'm actually kind of surprised about this one. 18 Ward's place, 22 vision score by the Janna. Janna certainly could not get these visions to go where he was intending to put them because they did not seem to be very useful. As you can clearly see here, 22 on the vision score is the same amount as everybody else on the team between Maokai and Warwick, and they place around 12 to 13. So it's really unfortunate that was Ward's score, but just not in the area and not in the right directions at the time. Anyway, the J4 34 on the vision score and a 50 for the Nami on the score of vision. Great job on that. Impressive stuff. All one lane. has pulled off an incredible victory over DTS. Surprising victory, personally, in my opinion. Was not expecting a 2-0 here, but there's another thing I wasn't really surprised. There's another thing I was a little surprised about. Little Rem. And I think Little Rem, in my opinion here, I think gets the standout player of the interview, in my opinion, of course. So what do you personally think? Everybody did a really great job here. We have Bludit doing fantastic sushi, and Bludit seemed to finally really get that coordination that they really wanted. And they look like they also deserve a standout player. Honorable mention to that bot lane, though. They finally got their chemistry to work, and it looked beautiful in Game 2. But
absolutely, that Tristana jump into 2 members of DTS's bot lane, getting the double slow, forcing both flashes was fantastic from Bludit. Actually, I asked him to play Tristana, and he said, I'm not very comfortable on that champion. Well, he looked pretty comfortable on it this game.
Looked pretty comfortable indeed.
But I have to agree with you. Rem, I think, has to take the MVP for.
I'm not gonna lie, Canadian champion is definitely a close second. I was almost talking about him the entire match because he was just the go, engage, and it just seemed like he was just the guy. But that Cho'Gath in Game 1 was such a decidable factor. That damage from Little Rem in Game 2 was also really decidable too, and the pressure and the control and that great turning point that both Little Rem had in that clutch factor kind of just sways it a little bit for me. Canadian champ clearly would get the standout player, in my opinion. He would have gotten it, but Little Rem just seems to be that extra edge because of that amazing tower defense that he had against Warwick. So
and one of the things I have to say, really quickly, about Canadian champ, just so we don't feel bad about not giving it to him, he plays exceptionally well when his team is ahead. But when his team is behind, I have to get out the belt because it doesn't look pretty. and so both of these games, the team did quite well. And so what I really want to see from him, to give him MVP, not only here but in my heart, is to see him pull a team back from defeat rather than pushing it forward. So, and from that factor alone, definitely have to give it to Rem. So are we going to pull him in, or how's this going to go?
That's exactly what we're about to do, actually. Little Rem, let's get you in here, man, for your interview. Let's do this. Hey, Little Rem, can you chat?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Congratulations, man. You have won the standout player of Duo Esports this week.
Thank you.
Man, gonna be honest with you, I was looking at that Poppy and I was like, I don't know. I think you could have saved this pick for later. You could have used this to bait in some dashes. You could have because Poppy's damage is not that great and all yada 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 blah 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 all that nonsense. But then Warwick dives you under tower, and then you just look at him and no, and you slam him right into the wall, and then you hit him with the Q, and then you survive the tower dive. Honestly, that was really impressive. But you ended up with the highest damage in that match. So, gotta ask, what's up? How do you feel? Your first time on all one lane, your first time being in this hot seat. What do you think?
I want to say I felt really good about the series. The first game, I was super nervous, and being the shot caller, that actually caused us to almost throw the game. So it's definitely good for players like Spike2929 to step up on Vigar and get us that win, because then that second game was much smoother. I was a lot more comfortable. We were making the right calls. We weren't going too over-aggressive or too inconsistent in general. Mm-hmm. We really fixed most of our mistakes in Game 1. We had a few overextensions, and I think we're turning into a very solid team. I also would like to note, because I've heard a few times on Kidifier stepping down, he isn't doing it because of anything. He's doing it because he had some family stuff and has his trust in Spike. So it's not like he's stepping down for any other reason. But we found Spike. He's playing great.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of all one lane fans were definitely worried about Kidifier's circumstances for sure. Now they're confirmed. Looks like Kid is back in the hot seat, and my goodness, he's never looked any hotter in that seat. Gotta say, final question, because we gotta hurry up for the next game, which is going live very soon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be prepared in about 5 minutes. Little Rem here. All one lane got their 2-0 first one they've gotten in a very long time over the season. What do you have to say about your impact? Do you feel like All One Lane is now a different animal?
Oh yeah, we're a totally different team for sure. Yeah, we played really well. I don't think we had any problems in lane. We shut down Jin Daddy, which apparently hasn't happened before. I'm pretty new, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
just for
yeah, we're
context,
totally,
Jin Daddy has never gone a game without a kill, ever.
yeah, and
And he's never
props
gone
to
a
the
game
kid
with
for
one
that.
death. He's never had a negative KDA, ever. This is the first time that's ever happened. Very, very impressive stuff.
Oh yeah, we had to kill him at the end there. You know we had to do it to him.
I heard Drax, you gotta kill him! All right,
Oh yeah,
well,
I was flashing for that before it even happened.
Okay.
We knew even if we had to dive down.
So, thank you very much for this interview. Sorry it's so short,
Yeah.
but we've got
Oh,
another
no
game
problem,
for your situation. Thank you very much for being part of this interview.
Yeah,
And
thank
what an
you.
interesting game, and what a big turnaround for All One Lane. Can't wait to see where they are in the standings. Ladies and gentlemen, Little Ram, top lane of All One Lane here. First time. Congratulations, man. You're free to leave. Doors on the right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready for the next game to come. Ladies and gentlemen, love our numbers, love our subscribers, love our subs, loves our follows. Cannot wait to see if we've got more coming for the rest of the night. We've got one more game for you, and it'll be on in about, 5-10 minutes-ish, depending on how long that it takes. I'm Army Overlord. I was your play-by-play caster and your cameraman.
Hey guys, I'm Draxyr. I was your color commentator.
And you'll be seeing him in the game to come. I, on the other hand, back behind the camera, is I will be replaced by Blaze since I'm still sick. And, well, not gonna lie to you, can't wait to take that break. See you guys in a small jiffy. Until then, gotta make some editorial changes and some remakes. See you guys soon enough. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody. For now, as I will get the game going very soon.